Here's what 99% of guys get wrong, and it's exactly what women respond to. Sounds bold, right? But consider this. Ever watched a man who has everything going for him, yet he can't seem to build that deep, magnetic pull with women? It has nothing to do with his face, his bank account, or how confident he acts. The reality is, the vast majority of men are blind to a few specific, quiet actions that make them compelling. Today, I'm going to unpack 7 potent truths that women are drawn to on a primal level, but will almost never articulate. These are not the generic dating platitudes you've heard endlessly. These are subtle, psychological keys, rooted in both modern science and timeless Stoic principles that will reshape how women see you. You'll become unforgettable without even seeming to try. Just imagine. What if you could speak directly to the subconscious needs most women aren't even aware they possess? What if you could distinguish yourself from the 99% of other men effortlessly? Not through pursuit, not through performance, but by grasping what truly makes a woman feel witnessed, wanted, and deeply understood. And here's the bottom line: if you don't get these truths, you are operating at a massive disadvantage. You're likely missing the chance to spark the kind of fascination that keeps you on her mind hours after you've gone. This is precisely why you must watch until the very end. The final point is the absolute game changer, and once you absorb it, your understanding of attraction will be permanently transformed. Before we begin, do yourself a favor. If you're committed to internalizing these powerful dynamics, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and activate notifications. You won't want to miss the transformative insights coming. Let's begin. Secret 1: connection through non-sexual touch. Let's paint the scene. You're out with her. The conversation is electric, the chemistry feels real, but there's a barrier you can't quite put your finger on. She's participating, but she isn't fully pulled in. You see her home, send that perfect text, and then radio silence. What gives? Most guys believe building attraction is all about clever words. They figure an amazing conversation is the whole game. For a woman, however, connection is forged physically and emotionally, not just verbally. And there is one profoundly overlooked path to create it: touch. I'm not talking about a clumsy, forceful grab or anything that puts her on edge. I mean a light, deliberate, and deeply resonant gesture. One of the most powerful moves that women instinctually desire is a simple, thoughtful massage, long before intimacy is even on the table. Seems minor, doesn't it? But here's the science of why it's so effective. For women, emotional safety is the gateway to physical desire. A well-timed, non-threatening touch transmits a message her nervous system is wired to understand. It broadcasts, "I see you as a person. I value your comfort. I want you to feel secure and at ease in my presence." This isn't about showing off your message skills. It's about being fully present, making her feel relaxed, seen, and wanted on an emotional level first. The secret ingredient: the intention behind it. If you're just robotically performing an action, it will fail. But if you are there, attentive, and genuinely attuned to her reaction, she will feel that. The great Stoic emperor, Marcus Aurelius, advised, "Don't debate what a good man should be. Be one." Stop over-analyzing. Don't make it awkward. Simply be present and let your deliberate actions communicate for you. Here's the blunt truth: most men will never grasp this principle. They remain in the 99% who find emotional intimacy a struggle. But the few who do, they forge a deep, enduring resonance that women find impossible to forget. In a society fixated on instant wins and shallow interactions, this conscious approach is a superpower. When you get it, you join the 1% of men who genuinely understand what women truly yearn for. Secret 2: the art of playful tension. The majority of men butcher the art of flirting. They either come on way too strong, smelling of desperation, or they hang back so far they appear completely neutered by fear. The reality is, women absolutely love to flirt, but it must be done with a confident and respectful playfulness. A man who can flirt with ease is a magnet because he generates an exciting energy that feels compelling, not coercive. Flirting isn't about impressing her with canned jokes or over the top compliments. It's about maintaining a dynamic that is light, spirited, and mutually engaging. Picture it as a form of dance. You lead, she responds, but the movement feels natural and unforced for both. The master level way to do this is by teasing with a light-hearted, fun spirit. For instance, if she mentions she adores a specific band, you could playfully smirk and reply, "Really? That's your top pick? I can see we have some work to do on your music taste." It is a gentle challenge that sparks intrigue and creates a fun, competitive vibe. Crucially, powerful flirting is never about seeking her approval. The second you start trying too hard for a reaction, your power vanishes. Women are instinctively drawn to men who are at home in their own skin, men who can be playful without needing her to validate him. This is a direct line to Stoic wisdom. A high-value man doesn't flirt to conquer a woman. He flirts because the interaction itself is enjoyable. He stays emotionally centered, never needy for a particular outcome. Beyond your words, your gaze and posture are vital. A sure glance, a slow, confident smile, a well-placed moment of silence. These speak with more volume than any scripted line ever could. Attraction is not built with words. It is built with presence, with energy, and with self-assurance. When your flirting comes from the right frame of mind, women feel it on a cellular level. So, ask yourself, are you flirting to impress, or are you flirting because you genuinely enjoy the playful exchange? Master this distinction, and you will watch the entire board change in your favor. Secret 3. The hair touch that creates closeness. Most men are completely oblivious to this, but women adore it when a man understands how to touch their hair correctly. Executed at the perfect moment, it stands as one of those subtle, almost invisible actions that can forge an immediate and deep emotional link. But if you mess it up, it feels cringe-worthy, calculated, or even invasive. The secret is in the why. The scalp and head are densely packed with nerve endings, making them highly sensitive zones that can activate profound emotional reactions. A deliberate, gentle touch to her hair can transmit potent, non-verbal signals of intimacy, safety, and deep attraction. It's about more than the physical feeling. It's the silent message it sends. It can say, "I am here with you. I am completely present, and I am connected to your energy." But this is precisely where men fail. They either make the move too soon or execute it like a robot, with zero authentic connection behind it. Touching her hair isn't about idly fiddling with it. It's about crafting a singular moment of deep connection. Imagine this: you are seated together, lost in a good conversation, and in a perfectly timed beat, you gently tuck a single strand of hair from her face. That one move, done with quiet confidence, communicates more than 1,000 words. The timing is non-negotiable. This is not a move for a first meeting or before you've established any real emotional rapport. It's most effective when she's already relaxed with you, when the air is thick with warmth and chemistry. If she leans closer, if she offers a smile that signals an invitation, that's your cue the moment has arrived. The biggest mistake is to force the moment before she is ready. This is why presence and sharp awareness are your essential tools. From a Stoic viewpoint, this is about emotional acuity and self-control. Stoicism trains us to assess situations clearly and act from wisdom, not on raw impulse. It means you don't reach out simply because the desire hits, but because the moment is truly right to deepen the connection. So the next time you're with a woman, and that moment of connection feels right, do not underestimate the sheer power of one simple touch to her hair. When delivered with certainty and real intention, it's one of those incredibly rare, subtle gestures that leaves a permanent impression. Secret 4. The hand of guidance in public. This gesture may appear small, almost trivial, but in truth, it communicates an encyclopedia of meaning. A single, assured touch on a woman's lower back as you lead her through a bustling space or walk beside her broadcasts something deeply attractive, confident leadership and a protective presence. Despite this, 99% of men either fail to see it or they second-guess themselves, paralyzed by indecision. Women don't require grand gestures of machismo to feel protected. They respond to quiet, primal cues that a man is grounded, aware, and capable of taking the lead. When you place your hand on her back in a calm, confident manner, you convey that you have yourself and the environment handled, all without uttering a word. This isn't about assertion or ownership, but rather about demonstrating through action that you are there, you are attentive, and you lead with a silent strength. This is where many guys fumble it. They either pause for too long, which drains the moment of its natural feel, or they do it in a manner that feels contrived and clunky. This is not about being possessive or fishing for validation. It is about your presence. When executed properly, the touch is feather, light but firm, momentary but purposeful, just enough for her to notice it and register your lead in a way that feels seamless and natural. See it in your mind. You're walking next to her, approaching a doorway. As you move slightly ahead to get the door, your hand briefly makes contact with the small of her back, enough to gently direct her path without either of you breaking your stride. It's a silent moment of leadership, an action that subconsciously lets her know she is with a man who moves through the world with assurance and intent. From a stoic framework, this connects directly to self-governance and emotional command. A man of quality doesn't need external praise for his conduct. He simply is a man of strength, awareness, and quiet composure. When your hand guides her, you aren't looking for a reaction. You are simply being a man who leads with presence. And that alone is intensely magnetic. In a world where men are often either too passive or too aggressive, mastering this one simple but powerful gesture elevates you into a category of men who understand the nuanced balance of power and care. Secret 5. The unshakable protector. Let's tune out the static for a moment and be real about a feeling every man experiences but seldom speaks of, that primal urge to shield, to guide, to be the one she can count on when life gets turbulent. This isn't because she is incapable, nor is it about controlling her. It's because your masculine center is hardwired to provide shelter, not to smother, to be a rock, not to chase. And here's what almost all men don't get: women deeply desire that. Not an enforcer, not a commander, but a man who exudes a presence that says, without speaking, "Your well-being is secure with me." And here is the twist: you don't get that title with big muscles or a big wallet. You get it with emotional strength. See, most men believe being her hero means charging in with fixes, solving her dilemmas, giving her advice, patching her bad day like a leaky faucet. But that is the opposite of what she desires. What she truly craves is a man who can remain steadfast while her world is spinning. A man who doesn't recoil from her emotions, who doesn't try to dismiss them, belittle them, or make them about his own feelings. She needs to know that you can handle her storm without losing your own peace. Because when a woman is overwhelmed, she isn't seeking a technician. She's looking for an anchor who won't be moved by her waves. Someone who doesn't try to flee. Someone who doesn't become reactive. Someone who just stays, but stays centered. That is what makes you her sanctuary. It isn't loud. It isn't flashy. It isn't the romantic movie version. It's constant, quiet, and solid. The more she experiences that from you, the more she is able to relax into her own feminine energy, because she's no longer the one shouldering the entire emotional weight. She can finally exhale because she knows you can hold it, even when she's a storm. To be specific, being her protector means you allow her to feel without trying to solve it. You listen with your full presence, and you maintain your calm when she's testing you, not to show her up, but to prove that her emotions won't destroy your foundation. Your composure becomes the safety signal. Here's the key: you become her protector before a crisis demands it. This means you aren't just reacting to turmoil, you preempt it with your energy. You dictate the emotional atmosphere of the space. You move with clarity. You speak with conviction. You never have to announce, "I've got this," because how you hold yourself communicates it for you. But I must be crystal clear. This is not about becoming her emotional doormat. Being a protector does not mean you accept disrespect or manipulation. It means you protect your own tranquility first, Because a man who cannot safeguard his own inner state can never truly safeguard hers. This is exactly why Stoic principles are so potent in relationships. Seneca wisely said, "No man is good by accident. You do not just fall into this role. You decide on it, you cultivate it, you live it. Not to win her over, not to get a pat on the back, but because it is who you are, who you have forged yourself to be, who you are required to be to lead, not to chase, to shelter, not to show off." And here lies the paradox. When you fully step into this grounded energy, her entire perception of you shifts. She softens. She becomes more receptive. She trusts you on a deeper level. Not because you rescued her, but because you showed her she would never have to rescue you. So, if you are done trying to buy love by overextending, if you are weary of being an emotional janitor just to keep her around, if you are finally prepared to lead with a centered masculinity, type this below. I am ha safha boa. Because the man she truly craves, the one her nervous system respects, is not the most vocal one. He's the one who stands firm when it matters, the one who can listen without fixing, and who leads without losing himself. That is the man she entrusts herself to. That is the protector, not of her person, but of her peace in your presence. Secret 6, the magnetism of a beard. Okay, let's explore something that on the surface seems purely aesthetic, but connects to something far more elemental: the beard. For some, it's merely hair. For others, a fashion choice. But for her, if you carry it with the right energy, it can spark an attraction that feels almost biological. Now, I am not suggesting that all women are obsessed with beards. Tastes vary widely from clean, shaven to a rugged mountain man style. But irrespective of individual preference, there is a fundamental reason that beards have always been a symbol of something primal, masculine, and quietly dominant. And women register this, even if they cannot put it into words. Because a beard doesn't just alter your features, it alters your perceived identity. And in the world of attraction, perception is reality. A well-maintained beard sends a signal of maturity. It implies life experience. It gives you an edge. It says to her, without you having to speak, this man is beyond his boyish phase. He has nothing to prove. He simply is. And that quiet, self-possessed energy, that is stoic, that is masculine, and it's a presence that communicates more profoundly than any words you could use. Let's dig deeper. Psychologically, facial hair is associated with authority and depth. Not the boisterous, look at me kind of authority, but the silent kind. The kind that enters a space and has no need to announce its presence. It communicates through composure and attention to detail. When a woman encounters a man with that sort of presence, especially one who wears a beard with both confidence and care, it resonates with something ancient within her. She perceives safety and strength in one package. She senses a man who can both ground and excite her, a man not easily swayed by trends, who operates by his own code. But let me be perfectly clear, this isn't about just letting your beard grow wild. A beard, when properly maintained, isn't just a look, it's a testament to your personal discipline. It broadcasts, I value myself, I am meticulous, I invest in how I show up in the world. Because a messy, neglected beard doesn't project power, it projects apathy. A sharp, intentional beard, however, declares, I am certain of who I am, and I fully own it. Now, here's the nuanced detail nobody ever mentions. When a woman's fingertips graze your jawline, she isn't just taking in the texture. She is experiencing something more profound. It's not just contact, it's contrast. Your masculine ruggedness against her feminine softness. It's a rich sensory moment that speaks volumes. This is what most men fail to grasp. A beard doesn't just reframe your face, it generates polarity. And polarity is the engine of chemistry. Not sameness, not ease, but a delicious difference, masculine and feminine, stillness and flow, strength and surrender. The beard, when matched with a grounded energy, becomes an amplifier for that polarity, making her feel even more feminine simply by being in your orbit. But once more, it isn't about the facial hair itself, it's about the man wearing it. Because if your internal energy is weak, if your boundaries are soft, if you plead and explain, No beard on earth will shift how she feels. But if you carry yourself like a grounded man, economical with words, purposeful with attention, then the beard transcends appearance. It becomes an emblem of the man you are, and therein lies its real charm. Let's connect this to the Stoics. Epictetus taught, first, know who you are, then adorn yourself accordingly. You don't grow a beard to hide a weak chin. You grow it to express your identity. It doesn't grant you strength. It showcases the strength you have already built. So whether you rock a clean shave or a full beard, do it with intent. Don't chase a style. Lead with your inner presence and let everything else be an extension of that. If this truth resonated with you today, if you now grasp that masculinity is not only felt but also seen, then post this in the comments. MYPR sensais MYPR. Because the man who is secure in himself doesn't just grow a beard. He wears it as a quiet signal that this is a man who has nothing left to prove. He simply is. Secret 7. The bond of shared laughter. Let me put a question to you, my friend. When was the last time you elicited a true laugh from a woman? I'm not talking about a polite little titter, not the obligatory, "Oh, you're funny," that follows a lame joke. I'm talking about that authentic, deep, defenseless laughter. The kind that makes her tilt her head back and let go for a moment. The kind that makes her reflexively touch your arm. The kind that demolishes her defenses without a single conscious thought. Because this is what the majority of men fail to comprehend. Laughter isn't just about having a good time. It's a form of intimacy. It's deeply disarming. It bypasses all of her mental defenses. It zips right past logic and connects directly with her nervous system. Want the real psychology here? When a woman genuinely laughs with you, her system is flooded with oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the exact same one she feels from touch and during moments of deep trust. And just like that, you are no longer just the guy she's having a conversation with. You are the guy she feels safe with, the guy who feels like an oasis. Now, most guys never learn to use this power. Why is that? Because they are so fixated on looking impressive, on saying the smartest thing, if on maintaining a strong, stoic, mysterious front. And all of that has a role to play. But if that's your only mode, you'll earn her respect, but not her attraction. She will see you as competent but ultimately forgettable. Laughter is the thing that makes you unforgettable. It is the secret ingredient, the relief between the moments of tension, the instant of release where she realizes, my life feels better with this man in it. The key insight is this: it's not about becoming a stand-up comic. It's not about trying desperately to be an entertainer. It is about understanding when to relax into the present, when to tease with charm, when to allow her to tease you in return, and when to stop taking yourself so damn seriously. That's the foundation for a kind of chemistry that feels electric even from across the room. Let me draw you a picture. You are with her. The energy is calm, maybe even a little serious. You observe something, a tiny detail no one else would notice, and you drop a dry, witty comment at the perfect time. You see the corner of her mouth twitch. She tries to suppress it. She can't, and now you are both laughing together. That moment, right there, is more potent than the world's best pickup line, because it wasn't manufactured, it was authentic to you both. Shared, spontaneous, and absolutely real. And the true magic is, she will remember that feeling later. Not the exact words you said, but the feeling. She won't recall the specific punchline. She will recall how effortlessly light she felt in your presence. In a world that so often feels crushingly heavy to her, that feeling is pure addiction. Here's where most men trip up. They believe laughter signals weakness, that if they aren't stone-faced and serious, they lose her respect. It's the exact opposite. The man who can be light without sacrificing his depth is a rare breed. He is captivating. He is irresistible, because he doesn't need to be on all the time to be powerful. He knows that laughter doesn't diminish his masculinity, it amplifies it. It proves he's not intimidated by the moment, that he's in full command of his own energy, and that even from a place of quiet strength, he can conjure joy. Let's link this back to Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius taught that your perception of events, not the events themselves, causes your pain. In other words, your capacity to reframe reality, to convert pressure into ease. That is true power, and laughter is the manifestation of that shift. It's how you guide her emotional state back towards happiness, how you show her that masculine energy doesn't have to be heavy, that strength can have a smile, that a centered man can create sparks. So, if you've been crushed by the burden of always being the serious guy, if you've lost touch with how to simply enjoy a moment with a woman without trying to manage it, without putting on a show, it is time to rediscover that lightness. Not to impress her, but to reconnect with your own authentic self first. Because the man who laughs with her, not at her expense, not for her approval, but truly with her, that man creates something far deeper than just attraction. He builds an emotional landmark in her memory. And if that is the man you are becoming, drop this in the comments. I love to YTHJY. Because the man who brings a smile to her face is the man she wants to be around, not only when things are fun, but especially when they are not. Because shared laughter, brother, isn't just noise, it's a signal, and it creates a bond she can't articulate but will never, ever forget. Secret 8, the pull of a man's mission. Let's move beyond the surface of attraction for a moment, past the touching, the flirting, and the chemistry. Let's discuss something women deeply crave, but almost never know how to request a man with a purpose. I'm not talking about a 9 to 5, or a short-term goal, or a schedule for the weekend. I am talking about a mission, direction, a man who isn't just coasting, but who is actively building an empire of his own making. Because this is the truth that most men miss. Nothing pulls a woman's soul in closer than a man who is unapologetically on his own path towards something larger than his own life. This isn't about the money he'll make. It's not about getting famous. It's not even about what his dream is. It is about what having that dream reveals about him. It reveals that he is vibrantly alive. It reveals he is not a man of stagnation. It reveals that he gets out of bed driven by a purpose, and that specific energy is incredibly infectious. Do you want to know what a woman finds profoundly sexy? It's the man who can meet her gaze directly and say, "I can't stay out too late tonight. I have work to do on my project." And she knows he absolutely means it. Not because he is trying to get away from her, but because he refuses to let himself get lost in her. That is the master key. You don't win her admiration by making her your focus. You win it by making your mission your focus and allowing her to witness the fire it lights within you when you speak of it. And here's the mechanism of why it is so effective. Because when a woman feels the pull of your direction, when she sees you are in pursuit of something real, that you're not just waiting for life to happen to you, she can't help but respect you. She